discuss patents for defense purposes. Hi Shalini, how are you doing?
Hi, Priggya. I'm doing well. How are you?
I am also doing well. Though I don't look that I am doing well, but I am doing well.
That's good to hear. I hope you get enough rest. And I hope you're having a good Tuesday.
Yes, I am. A
Okay,
lot
are you
of
ready
work.
for today's topic?
Yeah, definitely. So we'll discuss patents for defense purposes, and as usual, we'll start with your opening remarks.
Opening remarks. So, the provision for secrecy is tied in with the patents for defense purposes. It finds a special place in the Patents Act, and in my head, somehow it's also tied with the foreign filing requirement, license requirement that we had discussed a few
Correct.
weeks ago. So if your patent is related to if the controller or the examiner of patents feels that it is related to defense purposes or it has a bearing on the government's requirement for defense purposes, then it may notify you of the same, and
Hmm.
then there are steps in place in the Patents Act for that.
Hmm.
So I think, although we think that Section 3 and Section 4 relating to atomic energy takes care of that, but
Correct.
apparently not enough. So we need Section 39,
Yeah.
35, and
And
39.
and I think atomic energy is very different from defense related patents, because defense related patents can also include things like guns, and military
Airplane, yeah,
military equipments, airplanes, and
yeah,
things like that. So
uniform,
I
yeah,
think that's why there has to be some differences between atomic energy patents and defense related patents.
that's a good point.
Mhm.
And I think, do you agree that the provision for secrecy under Section 35 ties in with the foreign filing requirement?
Yeah, I do agree. So I think the purpose of having a foreign filing requirement is at least the government of our country gets to know what is being filed internationally if it is not filed in India. So maybe a defense related patent is filed outside India and the government does not come to know about it. Or there
Right.
are things like which government think can hamper the world, but still they want to know about what is being filed by Indian citizens outside India. So for that, it is a mandatory requirement that we have in our laws.
Absolutely. And I think so. The way the procedure in place is that when you file your complete specification and let's say you file a request for publication, or you
Hmm.
don't, but it gets published anyway. So prior to publication, they will send you a letter saying that we are of the opinion that this is relating to defense, and we are forwarding your patent application to the DoD, to the
Oh,
Department of Defense, and
oh.
they send it there, and then it's a wait, quite a bit of wait to hear back the DoD, because I think the DoD is backed up with a lot of patents, is not on their list of priorities, I suppose. So I have a couple of patents that are stuck with the DoD,
Hmm, hmm.
and and I haven't seen the other side, the light at the end of the tunnel. So I don't know what happens after that.
So
But
Shalini,
I think, sorry, continue.
Shalini, is there a provision where we can also mention that we have applied for a defense related patent or not? Like it is on the discretion of the government only. Like they'll segregate into defense and
No,
non-defense
they
patent.
will segregate it.
Yeah.
They will segregate it. But they also, but so what is the way out for inventors to not get caught up in this
Yeah.
IPO and DOD?
So I remember, I know it's a little deviation from this defense related patents, but sometimes, uh, for example, a water bottle, right? So a water bottle, our professor used to say this, a water bottle can be used to kill a person as well. So how will you differentiate whether it is a defense related person, invention, an invention to harm people or not? So we have to go into the primary purpose of the thing, like what is the
Hmm.
primary purpose of the thing. And probably when we draft the application, we'll have to draft it in the sense that the primary purpose of the thing is not defense related.
Hmm.
So I think one way to tackle this is
Yes, and I
defining the
think the
purpose.
I agree. Yeah, that's a good way. But we also don't get a patent for the utility, for the
Yeah.
usefulness. We get it for the method or for the object itself. So if someone can see through that, then it's kind of we can't use that. But we could have. So if we know that if we have an idea that this is going to be prejudicial to the security of India, or we may not get a patent for this, or an open publication like regular patents, and we can anticipate, like I had told the inventor that this patent is going to get stuck in
Hmm.
this section 35 route. So if we are already aware that the government is going to impose a secrecy direction, sometimes they may allow the patent, or sometimes
Correct.
they may impose a secrecy for perpetuity. In
Correct.
which case or sometimes they may say that this is required for defense related purposes. So then eminent domain kind of thing kicks in,
Yeah.
and the government is then going to make use or sell that product or method, or until they decide to revoke that secrecy provision. So I think the way would be to discourage the inventor from spending their time and money along this road, and to go along another road and to directly put it into practice rather than applying for a patent.
Yeah, probably I think that is a good way. And then trade, we have provisions of keeping it as a trade secret and things like that. Another thing, Shalini, which just came up into my mind, like there are countries where defense standardizations or defense patents are not handled by the government, like they are
They are
handled by
private.
private
Mm.
organizations. So in those countries, I in my opinion, these secrecy provisions are not there. Are you aware of it?
No, I'm not aware of it. US, it is private, correct?
Yeah, US is private, even Europe, many countries it's private, because I had a word with an European attorney who used to work in standardization, and he
Hmm.
was of the opinion like, why is India not taking up this? So, as per our conversation, because in India it is handled by the government, it's very difficult to take such standardizations as a private body.
Right, absolutely. So there is actually there is no restriction on
Hmm.
in the Patents Act
Correct.
to not grant except under Section 4, which is the Atomic Energy Clause. But uh, you know there is we
We
can't do it. So
have a
I
law.
think yeah, we have a law and we have to abide by it. So I think we have to the reason then we have Section 39 that kicks in for the foreign filing is that we have a primary duty to our country to not file a patent that could possibly impact the defense
Correct.
branch, and that's why the government wants to examine every patent that's being filed abroad
Hmm.
with,
Hmm.
and there's a permission that you have to obtain.
And as per my opinion, Shalini, because this step happens way before, like in the patent process, it happens in the earlier stage, like before
Right.
publication. So the examiner also, I don't think they go into details to analyze the invention. They just look at the stuff and see whether it could be a subject matter or of
For
defense.
foreign filing.
No, no,
For
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 secrecy. For secrecy.
secrecy. For secrecy, you have to submit the entire patent. For
Correct.
foreign filing, you don't need to submit the claims. You
Yeah,
just need to submit the complete specification and abstract.
correct. So the examiner, like for secrecy provisions, I don't think they go into details of the application because it happens before the publication stage. So they might not examine in terms of prior art and
No,
things like
no,
that.
no. There is
Secrecy
yeah,
provisions
no
are
examination, no substantive examination that happens. It's only that it appears prima facie, it appears to be defense related, and therefore it will be sent for sent to the DRDO.
Yeah.
And it should be so they write to the DRDO and ask them to notify us if it is defense related or not.
Hmm. Hmm.
But
Hmm. The timelines.
yeah, timelines are, I don't even want to tell you the timelines right now. I'm
So, so there is something, so some reels going on the internet that don't ask me about the timelines in the judicial processes. We
yeah,
also don't know about the timelines.
yeah, I have someone asking me on a daily basis, like morning and night, about the timeline for trademark hearing. And the answer is, of course, not changing from morning to night. But religiously, before going to bed, he'll ask, and as soon as he wakes up in the morning, he'll ask. And nothing is going to change since I went to sleep. But every day, it's the same question. It's like Groundhog Day.
And every day we give same answer. As soon as we hear something from the patent and trademark office, we'll update you as soon as possible.
Yeah, and then in the middle of the process, you cannot expedite it. At least patent, you
Yeah,
can. You can when you're filing Form 18,
correct.
you can do that. But trademark, there is no way out. I think we
Yeah,
should have a session on trademarks.
yeah, definitely we will have a session. But yeah,
Okay, so Prigya, what do you want to wrap up about our
I
Section
would.
35?
So, wrapping up, yes, it is a secrecy provision. So, if you are an Indian citizen and you want to file a patent which may be related to defense purposes and you want to file it in India, the patent office may send it for secrecy provisions until the defense related organization analyzes it and says that it is not related to defense purposes, the secrecy provisions may not be removed. So we'll have to analyze whether our patent is in in that area. So as per my suggestion, like if you feel that your invention is in that area, sometimes it's okay to file a patent application, but then you can practice it as a trade secret. So
Yes.
what disclose your invention in a limited sense where you can get a patent, but not to an extent that it attracts secrecy provisions.
Hmm. Yeah, if you have a way around it.
Yeah. So I think finding a way around it is necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Shalini, any final thoughts?
No, I think you've covered it brilliantly.
Thank you. So yes, thank you everyone for joining. We'll meet you next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Take care.
Have a good evening.